Sheryl Newman, it is so nice to have you here. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much for inviting me. Welcome to my abode. No fancy office here. I'm afraid it's working from home at its best.
No upside down canoes with flowers hanging out of them.
I'm very jealous. I'm very jealous.
For people that don't know, we record this on a Wednesday, and we've just been hit with news. I don't even know if you've seen it because we haven't spoken about this, but wee Nicola has just shut us down again in Aberdeen. To some respect, what a nightmare!
Shut us down. No in and no out.
No in and no out, and all the rowdies that were out having a great time at the weekend and have got themselves sick, and we've had a bit of a hotspot peak in Aberdeen, which we've never had throughout the whole thing, right?
I know, it's so scary because everyone's been so good and so sensible, and now this has happened, and it's like, why?
I know.
This didn't happen. It just really didn't.
Nobody wanted enhanced lockdown restrictions. Nobody wanted a second wave or a spike or anything like that, and it's just awful. You really do worry about the businesses who maybe were holding on and just saw a bit of light and were getting it back on track. And, you know, my wife went out. You know, I haven't been out since I've gone to the shop and stuff like that. But I've never been anywhere public apart from a park since lockdown started. But my wife went out, kind of cagey about it, but she went to a hotel in Aberdeen that have converted their car park into an outside place on Queen's Road for the Aberdeen people. And she said it was truly excellent. Truly excellent. It was like, she was really worried, but the social distancing stuff was really well observed. You know, the waiting staff had a protocol and a regime. You know, I'm going to stay away from you. Here's your drinks, and everyone's seated, socially distanced. But some other places have just you know, haven't maybe been so stringent, and we've got ourselves in a bother.
Absolutely, back in a bother. But hopefully we can get out again. But we just have to take care. And this isn't a short-term thing. This is a long-term game.
Yeah.
And I know we're all fatigued. We're all fatigued with this. We're all fatigued with working in our houses and not getting out and not seeing our friends. But, you know, this is a virus that doesn't care about any of these things. And we just have to be sensible.
Totally. And we'll cover some of that sensibility and how things might have changed as we go through this. So the good thing is the big celebration. I wish I had party poppers or a gift of some sorts, but this is Crux Cast number 40. Number 40. And you know what? When I set out to do this, I said, listen, if we get to 40, I'm going to do it with Sheryl Newman.
Check me out. I feel so honoured.
So
why wasn't I number one?
Why wouldn't you? Well, do you know what? Looking back at number one, you dodged a bullet there, because it was I was nervous, everybody was nervous. I didn't know what to do. The editing was horrendous, not much better, but we're getting there. So the reason why I was looking forward to doing this is because we've recently hooked up. We recently connected, you and I. I think someone recommended we get connected, and we got connected. And so I, you know, rightly or wrongly, as I was just saying before this, we make assumptions about what we see, not necessarily about people, but what people show us about themselves. So when I mean, for a living, I look at people's social profiles and things like that. So I looked at your profile and I thought, here's someone that absolutely gets it. Here's a leader in a business who has got an amazing portfolio and a career and life to date, which we're going to cover in a second. But, you know, we make assumptions about people. Either they are super technical, or they might be invisible. They might just have the bare minimum. You put an amount of information on there that, rightly or wrongly, I get technical specialist, someone who cares, someone who likes people, cares about people in general, someone who's quite sensitive and has got a nice touch. So that's the assumption that I get from you. Was this always what you were going to try and do with business? Because it's not something that everybody gets.
No, I mean, and we spoke briefly about this. I mean, I know this sounds really twee, but we spoke. I mean, my earliest memory is, you know, being with my grandfather and him saying to me, Sheryl, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I just said, I want to help people. And I don't know whether I've had a lot of medical interventions. I've been ill since I was quite young. But also my mum was a helper. She would always want to, you know, she would give you her last £5 and do without herself. And I think growing up with that kind of background, that kind of values, resonated with me. And I've obviously worked in corporate. I've worked for very large organizations, and it used to frustrate me that people were never considered as part of the equation. It was always like that. This is coming. We're doing this, and people are just going to get on with it. But people are your key enablers. They're the ones that are going to be the difference between success and failure. And as you've seen, you know, whether you're the the cleaner, you know, the security man, what you are. These are people with their fingers on the pulse, right?
Yeah.
And it's important to kind of be aligned to these. And no, so yeah, I always just wanted to help people. I have a real passion for helping people, and I'm very much driven by it. That's my sole core focus in life. That is what
So
it
that's
is.
the
In
kind
a
of
nutshell.
true north is I'm going to help people, and that's not bad.
True north, you know, yeah, kindness, doing the right thing, are all things that are very important to me, and I will always stick to my values on them. Absolutely. And I'm going to give you an example of that to
Yeah,
prove
please,
that to you.
please.
Because we talk about difficult circumstances. Obviously, I started the business in a recession. You know, I jumped off a cliff. You know, both feet first. I just went for it. And we all know what it's like just now. We're in a pandemic. It's really hard to win new business. It's hard to keep business. And I was offered an opportunity to work with a client for a very large sum of money. But the solution that he wanted to put in place wasn't right for his business. It was absolutely not right for his business. And I think a lot of companies in that situation might have just gone, need the money, let's do it.
Yeah.
But I chose to take the stance and challenge and say, no, I'm sorry, I can't deliver that for you. I just cannot deliver that for you. Why not? But why not? I'm giving you all this money. I said, but it's not the right thing for your business right now. Maybe in 6-12 months. I said, but right now you should not be investing your money into doing this. Long story short, we didn't win the opportunity. Of course we didn't. But 6 months back, I got a phone call saying, you're absolutely right.
Really?
I should, yeah. And my instinct at the time was to say no and walk away, but they're now a fantastic customer. So we have a very trusted, very open relationship. And I love that, because at the end of the day, I've got to do what's right for them, not what's right for the business. But ultimately, in a weird way, it is right for the business, but it's always putting it's being ethical and putting people's needs first. And that's key to me. Yeah.
That's incredible. So yeah, well, there you go. If you have that true north, if you have that compass direction, it's about kindness, openness, and trust. You're always going to answer like that, even maybe as well. Some would perceive it as being to the detriment of the business, but it's not really. In the long term, you've just proved that.
No, and maybe everyone thinks I'm crazy and stupid, but I'd rather be that way than do the wrong thing by someone, and I'm going to stick to it, and that's the way I operate, and that's it.
And that's the way I operate, and that's it. I love it.
I'm getting older. I'm owning it more. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm kind of stepping into myself and being a bit more confident about beliefs. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, quite right. It happens to some of us. You get to that point where you just think, I know what I am. I know what I've got to be, and that's what I'm going to be, like it or lump it. Let's go back to those conversations with your grandpa. Where did it all start? Are you Aberdeen all your days, or were you somewhere else? No. Are you an incomer like me?
I'm an incomer. I was actually born in Peterhead, Luton. Mm-hmm. And I grew up there till I was just in my kind of early years, and then my dad got an opportunity to move through to the city, and we moved to Aberdeen and settled here. So I've never strayed very far, to be honest. It's I've always stayed close to home.
I've started asking people this that I'm getting close to, and it was the subject of a post that I put up a couple of days ago. What did you want to be when you were younger? What were your mad stories? What did you always say that you wanted to be? Because I'm sure you never said, I want to be the go-to person for SharePoint in the world.
I'll tell you what I wanted to. I tell you what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a journalist. Yeah, I love people. I used to. You're gonna laugh at this. I used to sit with my great granny, sit in her wee bedroom, and I used to write poetry. I used to write stories. And I had some of them published, which was really funny. But I used to love people. I'm really fascinated by people. I'm fascinated by stories and what makes them who they are. That psychology, that piece.
Right.
And people laugh at me in meetings. My colleagues laugh at me in meetings because I'm like, oh, so you're going on your camper van holidays this weekend. Tell me about that. Where have you been? Because I'm genuinely interested. And I can see people going, just get on with it. But I can't stop that. So yeah, I wanted to do journalism. And that was always the plan. But unfortunately, as I said, I became quite ill from around the age of 15. And,
are you okay to talk about that? And what was it that hit you?
Of course. So I have a condition called lupus.
Right.
Which is basically when the white blood cells turn on themselves, so your immune system doesn't recognize them as being healthy. So I'll be quite honest with you. I'm very, very lucky. I'm very lucky. Mine was caused by a repeated antibiotic. I was one of those, how many hundreds of thousands of people it impacted me. And I ended up at 21 in a hospital bed being told by a consultant, I was on my own, saying, we think it's going to injure your brain, you're not going to make it. And that was tough. That was pretty tough.
Holy moly.
Yeah. However, I don't think at that age something like that resonates really with you. And to be honest, because my mum had always been ill, I only ever knew my mum was being ill, but my mum was always very, she always tried. She always just kept going. She had a very strong core of steel, and I grew up seeing that. So for me, it was just like, okay, then, well, I'm not going to accept this. I'm going to try and fight it. I'm going to try and find a way out of this. And very fortunately, an off-duty doctor who was walking through the ward asked for me to be referred to an immunologist, and they picked it up, because otherwise I wouldn't be sitting here today. But as a result, it has left a lot of other conditions, which have caused because of steroids and all these different things. So it's very challenging. It's very debilitating. It causes a lot of fatigue. I'm a classic type A. I am hugely driven, which is not a good mix for my illness. I'll be the one that's first in the office, last in the office. I'll be the one that's working. But when you're starting a business, you have to give that effort and attention to it. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And it's challenging. It's hard. And of course, I've had to shield for 18, 20 weeks because of.
So you've actually been shielding, not just isolating.
No, I've actually been shielding. I was even terrified to go into the garden for the first 4 weeks, which is ridiculous. Because my neighbours would be in the garden, I'd be like, oh my God, I can't go out there. Because obviously I live in quite a built up area, and I was terrified. And but I was actually shielding for 18 weeks.
As if life isn't difficult enough.
Yeah.
You've just got extra things to deal with.
But something, I think it's made me, I've seen people crumble during this pandemic, and I've thought, why? And that's no disrespect, but I think it's just because all my life I've had challenges and issues and obstacles I've had to overcome. So this is just a way of life for me. This isn't anything that's different. Yeah. So it's just another thing. You've got to go, okay, this is slightly harder. It's slightly more scary. And my fear was for my health rather than the business. That was where my fear was. So, but yeah, we just, I guess that's just made me a better coper, I guess.
It's mind blowing, but you would never. It's not visible around you. Only the people that are close to you, and now the thousands of people that'll see this. I tell you, outwardly, I always look calm and confident and collected, but inside, and I'll be quite honest about it, I am like, oh my God, I'm questioning everything. But the reason I share it, not because it's not poor me, because it's not about that. It's about, there are people sitting out there who think, I can't do that. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. And you just need someone that you can say, well, if she can do it, I can do it, and give them the confidence to try. Because I've never been afraid of failure. Never, ever afraid of failure. I'm afraid of not trying. Oh my God! And, oh my God! I think we might have just come up for the name of this Crux Cast right there. That's it. That's it. Cast in concrete. But as I said to you previously, I'll never jump out of a plane. No. But I'm not scared to take risks in other areas of my life. So yeah. Yeah, you can see that. You can see that. So, looking at your profile, looking at what you do in your life and where your successes are, and your amazing story and journey, which we'll cover in a sec. I saw that you went to Aberdeen Uni. You would think, looking at it, you think, well, this person probably got a degree in IT, or probably got a degree in business management. What was your degree in? I actually have a master's in German. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love it. And it just shows you again, it's about the fact that, you don't have to choose your path too early on in life and stick to it. You can bend and flex. Why German? Well, after the journalism thing didn't work out, because the reason I couldn't do that, just to circle back, was because the only journalism course that was in place was in Imperial College in London. Right. And of course, being unwell, my parents weren't happy about me being so far away from home when I wasn't really able to kind of manage. So my second passion was, I did love technology. I have to tell you, my dad, I was a very fortunate child. My dad came home with a BBC computer one evening. It was like huge. It was bigger than my head, and I loved it. I was like fascinated by what tech could do. And but the guidance teacher at school said, "Oh, technology is for boys. You can't do that. It's for boys. It's not something." And it was all coding at that time, and there wasn't that knowledge and awareness of the depth and breadth of what IT is and the roles that you can perform in it. So
I chose my next best option, which was languages, which I seemed to be particularly good at. There was no plan, there was no career goal. I certainly didn't want to teach, but I just thought, I'm going to give this a go because I don't know what else to do. So that's the honest truth.
And was there any vision to set up a company in Germany at one point?
No.
Nine.
Nine.
Has it ever been any use to you? Because language is a use to have in business and in life, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I guess. I mean, I've never used it. I haven't spoken German in like 30 odd years, I don't think. So, but it just proves that you've got an ability to learn. That's all it does. It just proves you've got an ability to learn. You're open to new cultures. And actually the cultural aspect's been really important because obviously we work in new ways of working. We're working globally. So I think it's been very beneficial being able to relate to individuals who are not from the UK and being able to understand their culture and be willing to understand their culture more.
Totally.
Yeah. So
totally.
from that respect, yes, it has.
So zipping forward a wee bit to the future and what you guys at Appetite for Business are doing. I mean, you said to me quite clearly, we only had one meeting before this, but you're not an IT company.
No, we're not an IT company. There's no grey suits with us.
No.
We're not an IT company. We're definitely a people-focused business. We're all about people and enabling people to use and companies to use technology to better effect, to have greater efficiencies. And investing in your people is absolutely key. You know, at a time like this, when you've maybe got a 20% shortfall in your business of staff and the staff you've got left are stressed out, give them the tools, equip them to be able to work and to work from home. Because as we said, you know, this virus isn't going anytime soon. And there's going to be periods of working from home and working in the office. And actually, I think this is going to change. The way of working is going to change. We're going to not be all office bound all of the time. So yeah, give them the tools, upskill them, give them confidence, give them the support to perform to their best potentials.
So on the outside, you know, clearly there's across industry, there's a number of businesses that are struggling. But from the outside, you would think that given the fact that your thing's all about helping with digital workspaces, from the outside looking in, you would think, well, everybody must need that, right? Because everybody's struggling with digital workspaces. So I'm guessing that you've probably been quite busy.
We have been busy, and I made the decision when lockdown first happened, we actually got everyone working. I got everyone working at home about 10 days before lockdown actually happened because I could see what was going to come. And to be honest, we were home and set up within 30 minutes. Now, if we couldn't have done that, that would have been horrific, wouldn't it? Because that's what we're promoting. So, but yeah, it's been, and I chose not to furlough any staff either. I chose not to furlough staff because there was some customers who needed our help, and I wanted to support them to get through this. So we made a decision as a team. We all came together, and that's what we did. It's quite interesting. There's a lot of companies who have realised what's happening, the future is coming, and they are getting on board very quickly. And there's others who still want to sticky plaster. They still want to DIY it. They still want to. Mr. Google is amazing. It's amazing what you can find on Mr. Google. But unfortunately, you can't learn from a blog post, and you can't learn. You know, you need someone to guide and support and provide that education to you, and that's key.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it'll change as the months go ahead.
What's you just have to glance at your profile, and I would recommend that anyone who hasn't been through it have a look at it. It's like a gold standard. There's a strong. You don't have to read very deeply into it. There's a strong focus on supporting women in business that runs throughout your career. Was that something? Was there a turning point? Because it looks as if at around about 2013, Women in Technology Forum, bang, straight in there as a group member. But then you went deeper. You went deeper and deeper into that. Was that something that you'd always wanted to do, or was that a realization point for you?
Do you know what it was? I've always been the underdog. Always been an underdog, especially in the tech industry. I've always been, she doesn't know what she's talking about. Right. In fact, in a meeting the other day, I said the wrong word. I was, my mind wasn't quite in the room. I said the wrong word, and I was called out in that really quickly, and I was dealt with in quite an aggressive manner. And it's becoming less and less, but it's still very much perceived that, I guess, my background as well. Well, you've not studied computing, so what do you know? Well, actually, I know quite a lot of the area that I'm knowledgeable about, but I have a team of amazing individuals who can fill my gaps, fill my weaknesses where they are. So as a team together, we're very strong. And I also notice as well, women aren't always, I've had experiences, and I'm going to be quite honest, I was bullied quite badly, right, in business. And I could see that women sometimes are their own worst enemies, because we feel that we have to compete against each other. We feel that, especially in a male-dominated environment, we feel that we have to act like a man, behave like a man, but we don't. We've got amazing leadership qualities such as collaboration, empathy, support, which we can. And I wanted to encourage other women to stand into their own being and just to be themselves and showcase those qualities for what they were, because they're amazing and they bring such balance and a different perspective to industry. So it was actually something I started in 2007. We brought the first kind of Aberdeen Girl Geek dinners to Aberdeen. And just connecting the community, because there's still women in our community who just needed that support and that network to flourish and to shine and to just touch base with someone else in a similar situation to themselves.
Very good. And that's something that you're still involved with today on the fringe, or are you directly involved?
I've kind of taken a little step back this year, just because I really want to focus on the business and focus on kind of where we're taking that. But I think it's great for new people to come in as well, and people to give fresh blood and fresh ideas. But I'm still very much involved, but probably from a sideline from this point forward. Yeah.
When you got picked up at the meeting, did you hold your Female Leader of the Year in Scotland and IT award up in their face and say, "I kind of do know what I'm talking about, shut up"?
I remain professional, and I remain professional. I know I didn't.
Maybe just send them a photograph of you receiving your award that night. Yeah, just clamped. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So let's get into it. Since it must have been February time when we all started hearing about this thing, unfortunately rising in China and then spreading it to other places in the world. From say December, January time, when you guys were doing what you were doing, what is the significant difference that you see now, or what are some of the main problems and challenges that businesses are having in that digital workspace?
I think no one had a full perspective of what this was going to happen. I think even me, I thought by June, we're going to have this under control. It's going to be okay. I mean, I kind of thought that in my rather perhaps naive way as well. I think people are frightened. They're scared to. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They know they need to do something, but they continue to maybe sticky plaster over the solutions that they have, because they're frightened to invest. But actually, investing it gives them a longer term runway, because they're able to streamline their businesses, upskill their teams, and it's going to make them more efficient and allow them to concentrate on what they need to do. So I think there's a lot of fear out there still. No one knows what's next. No one knows how long this is going to continue for. But I think we have to stimulate the economy. We have to get going, and we have to invest where we can, even if it's just small things, just to keep things moving and keep our businesses running. Because otherwise, I think those businesses that don't, they're going to go the way of the dinosaurs. Really, that's the bottom line, because everyone else is going to overtake them very quickly.
Yeah, no question. So the miracle question, right? And you don't hit me for asking this, but the miracle question: you've been in business for a while. You've been bootstrapping businesses, you've been running them, you've been writing proposals, you've been, trying to get the delivery piece done and invoicing and doing all of that we all do. If you could, from what you know now, if you had unlimited resources, cash, people, and power in the world, what would you like to see improve? One single thing that you'd like to see improve in businesses, generally us doing better at?
Do you know one thing, and this is very prevalent in Aberdeen, so maybe this is an Aberdeen-centric answer, and we go around the houses and we talk about every time there's a crisis in the city, collaboration. But there is no collaboration, there's competition. And I had this conversation, and it's really interesting, because I was just on the phone before we spoke to a very good friend of mine. He said, "You know something, Sheryl, you are so supportive and you're so pleased for anyone that's doing well." He said, "And you're genuine about it." And I am genuine, because I love seeing businesses thrive. Yeah, okay, I'm having a hard time, or maybe I'm not succeeding where I would like to, but my journey is my journey. Everyone else has got their own journey. They've got their own race to run, and I think we forget that sometimes. And I think sometimes people become so fearful and inward looking and think they're presenting what are they doing? I need to copy them. I need to do that. You don't. you just need to do what you're doing and be good at it, because there's some bloody amazing businesses out there, but so fearful that they're not in the right lane, that they're trying to diversify and do different things when they're forgetting their core skill and what they're good at and what the market was buying before this happened.
I know.
And I think,
I totally concur with the, I think back to one of the Crux Casts we did with young Adam Bell at Moment Marketing. He tells the story about when he was working in Leeds, and how Channel 4 were looking to build their, Adam, correct me if I'm wrong, it was like their Channel 4 headquarters in the north. And it was pretty much a given that Manchester or Birmingham were going to get this. But Leeds decided, we've got something great to offer here. So if we get all the marketing people, all the PR people, all the graphics designers, all the video people, everybody connected to marketing and all the fringe, and we actually come together, not as competitors, and hold hands and say, we are one Leeds, right? So if you come to Leeds, you get all of us. And, okay, I might be standing next to my biggest competitor, but we're holding hands to present something really, really cool to a massive client to show how strong we are in collaboration. They won the contract. The building was built there. Channel 4 was in Leeds because of that strength of collaboration.
It's fantastic. Honestly, it's so transformational. It's so transformational. But unfortunately, and the mentality is not of that in the city, and hopefully in time it'll change. But unfortunately, we just see the same thing happening every time there's a downturn or a recession. It's really sad.
Yeah, really sad. We need to campaign to actually bottom out collaboration and get it working at grassroots level properly, embedded. Yeah. And we'll probably be saying that in another 10 years' time in this region. But we can only try, right? So in closing, given your history, given what you've done, if there are any students, men, women, Scottish, European, whatever it might be, across the world, coming out of uni right now and thinking, like my daughter, 21-year-old graphic designer, is coming out of uni and just said, well, I may as well go and try and get a job in Sainsbury's, because who's going to be hiring right now? What would your word be to young people that are just starting out right now?
So when I graduated from university, I couldn't get a job, but obviously I had great typing skills, because it was something my mum had made me kicking and screaming do while I was in school, and I was great with people. So while my colleagues at university said, "Oh, you're not earning enough money. What do you want to do that for?" I was just like, I'm in a job, I'm meeting people, I'm learning skills, I'm gaining knowledge, and I am earning some money. And for me, that was an absolutely key thing to do. So obviously I started as an executive assistant, and I worked there for a number of years, and the skills and the knowledge and the credibility actually it gave me. And it's for this reason that I wanted to support this community, because this community is in such difficulty right now in terms of their skill set becoming redundant and the need for them to really upskill into digital skills. And I desperately wanted to support the community where I started my first career. And so that's why we've created something called Cube, which is an online learning platform specifically for business support professionals to enable them to gain those skills in an affordable way and help them to gain employment or to remain in employment. So it's something that I'm very passionate about.
So the business support, or as some people might call it, the sort of administrative angle, can be so well trained in all this digital workspace stuff that they actually come in and are kind of leading the way within the business, rather than just being, here, get on with that.
Absolutely. And you know what? The ladies and gentlemen that work in this role, they are the eyes and ears of that organization. They are the gatekeepers. They are the ones that really are supporting their managers who are stressed out right now, who are worried, who are trying to create a plan. They're the ones that are holding their hand right now. They're the right hand person, and keeping them calm and managing them, and having that additional skill set really helps them throughout the organization to really to connect people and to get people working in a new way.
How can these good people get into Cube?
So we have a website for it. It's www.m365cube.com. And we understand right now, investing money is scary, because we're all trying to just hold our jobs down. But hopefully, we've already seen a number of people who've invested for 1 month subscription. They've already onboarded a number of new clients. So it is working. they're getting transferable skills, they're getting into a community where they can meet and support each other. And I think that's really key right now, community and support. And that's something that as a business, we're very, very passionate about.
That's a fitting end to a great half an hour with Sheryl Newman. Thank you so much for joining us today. How can people get in touch with you? I guess LinkedIn, you're all over it. You're there, you're visible, but your company website is what?
It's www.appetiteforbusiness, that's forbusiness.com. Absolutely reach out to us on LinkedIn, reach out to us through the website. Always love having a coffee and a chat, love meeting people, love having chats. So absolutely happy to talk to anyone that might want to talk to us.
Superb. It's been a pleasure to meet you, and let's keep the connection going. It's been great, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for inviting me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.